The night passed slowly, yet Eli felt a strange sense of calm. He had watched Zira work, learned a little about her monitoring devices, and experienced his first real microgravity fluctuation. By dawn, the station's artificial sun had started to glow softly through the window, and the room felt warmer. The locked door still held firm, but Eli's frustration had softened into curiosity. Eli stretched and rubbed his eyes. "Okay," he muttered to himself. "If I'm going to be stuck in here, I might as well make it productive." Zira, who had been quietly observing her instruments, glanced up. "Productivity is an efficient use of time. What is your intention?" Eli hesitated for a moment. "I want to help. I saw how you set up everything last night. The drones, the sensors, the safety fields, they're amazing. But maybe humans can improve them somehow." Zira's expression softened slightly. "Improvement is possible. Human ingenuity is not always predictable but can yield useful solutions. Your participation is permitted." Eli grinned. For the first time, he felt like an active part of something bigger. He walked to the corner where Zira had placed her tools and devices. The drones hovered in tight formations, scanning the room, while small panels blinked with data. It looked complicated, but Eli remembered some of his engineering classes and training modules from Earth. He could do this. "All right," he said, examining a small sensor that detected gravity fluctuations. "I think if we adjust the placement of these sensors slightly, we can get earlier warnings for smaller fluctuations. That way, even minor shifts won't catch us off guard." Zira tilted her head. "Adjustments must maintain calibration. Human error can reduce accuracy." "I know, I'll be careful," Eli replied. He reached out and carefully repositioned a few of the sensors, making minor tweaks to the angles. He checked the data on the panels and noticed subtle improvements. Even Zira's eyes widened slightly. "Interesting," she said. "Your calculations have increased early warning efficiency by 3%. Eli smiled proudly. 3%? That's something." Zira's drones hovered closer, scanning his movements. "Your physical coordination is adequate. Your method demonstrates creative adaptation. Observation: humans can compensate for technological limitations with improvisation." Eli laughed. "I guess that's the HFY moment, huh? Human improvisation saves the day." Zira gave a faint, almost imperceptible nod. "Your humor is noted. Creativity can be effective even when procedures are established." For the next hour, Eli worked alongside Zira, learning how the drones communicated with the sensors, how small adjustments to the field strength could stabilize objects in minor fluctuations, and even how she analyzed data patterns. It was intense but thrilling. He realized that despite being trapped in the bedroom, he was gaining a skill set that few humans on the station possessed. "You're amazing," Eli said quietly after finishing one set of adjustments. "I've never seen anyone work like this before. Not humans, not teachers, not engineers. You're precise, careful, and so methodical." Zira's eyes reflected a soft glow. "You humans are capable of observation and learning, but often lack long-term preparation. My methods compensate for unpredictability. Your contribution demonstrates adaptability within a constrained environment." Eli felt a warm sense of pride. Zira's words weren't just praise, they were acknowledgement of his human ingenuity. Here he was, a human trapped in a locked bedroom, yet contributing to safety systems that could save lives during the next microgravity event. He realized something important. Being human wasn't a weakness. His creativity, quick thinking, and willingness to adapt were strengths, sometimes even strengths that could match or complement alien technology. "All right," Eli said, standing and stretching. "Now that we've improved the sensors, maybe I can try something bigger." Zira's head tilted. "Define bigger. Efficiency is critical." "Well," Eli said, pacing slightly, "what if we could create a backup system? Something human-made that could work alongside your tech? If anything fails, we'd have a safety net. It would be redundancy." Zira considered this. Redundancy can increase survival probability. You may proceed if it does not interfere with current systems. Eli's excitement grew. He began scavenging small tools and spare parts he had brought from Earth and found around the apartment. He built a small sensor array that could detect vibrations and gravitational shifts independently of Zira's main system. He tested it with a few small weights and calibrated the drones to respond if the array detected sudden movement. Zira observed silently, her expression unreadable. After several adjustments, she nodded. Your system is functional. Integration with the primary array is possible with minimal risk. Observation. Human ingenuity can complement existing alien technology. Eli couldn't hide his grin. Yes. I did it. For the rest of the morning, Eli continued refining his additions. He learned how Zira's drones communicated with each other and how to use minor adjustments in the field strength to stabilize objects. The locked bedroom, once a place of confinement, had become a workshop of innovation. By midday, Eli felt a strange mix of exhaustion and satisfaction. His body was tired from constant movement and concentration, but his mind was alive with excitement. He had started as a frustrated human, trapped by alien caution, but now he was part of a system that combined human creativity and alien precision. Zira's voice broke the silence. You have demonstrated adaptation, resourcefulness, and creativity. Observation. Humans may be underestimated in their ability to contribute to high-risk environments. Eli laughed. Hey, I like that. HFY moment confirmed. Zira tilted her head. Acknowledged. Your contribution increases efficiency, safety, and data accuracy. Trust between occupants is now enhanced. Eli paused for a moment, realizing the significance of her words. This was more than just safety. Zira was acknowledging him as an equal contributor. Even though she was from another species, she respected his human ability to innovate. That respect, he realized, was a rare and valuable gift. The day continued with more collaboration. Eli discovered ways to optimize the drone's flight patterns, suggested minor adjustments to the holographic perimeter that improved response time, and even began predicting minor fluctuations before the sensors could detect them. Zira observed quietly, occasionally offering advice but mostly letting him experiment and learn. When a minor microgravity fluctuation occurred in the late afternoon, Eli was ready. He moved swiftly but carefully, adjusting the drones and the backup array he had created. The room remained stable. Zira's soft hum of acknowledgement sounded almost like approval. You humans are capable of rapid learning and application, she said. Your intuition compensates for physiological limitations. Observation. Collaboration between species yields significant advantages. Eli sat on the bed, exhausted but thrilled. You know, I never thought being trapped in a bedroom could be so productive. I've learned more in one day than I ever thought I would on this station. Zira tilted her head, her expression almost human in its subtle warmth. Constraints often facilitate focus. Observation. Humans can achieve high efficiency when parameters are defined. Your performance confirms this. As evening approached, the room became quieter. Eli leaned back on the bed, watching Zira monitor the systems. He realized that what had seemed like confinement was actually a lesson in adaptability, creativity, and trust. She hadn't locked him in to punish him. She had done it to teach him, to challenge him, and to ensure his safety. Eli felt a wave of appreciation for her discipline. Zira was meticulous, cautious, and intelligent beyond measure. And yet she had given him room to experiment, to innovate, and to prove that humans could contribute meaningfully, even in an environment that was alien in every sense. By the time the artificial night approached, Eli was no longer frustrated. He had adapted, he had contributed, and he had learned something far more valuable. Humans were not just survivors, they were innovators, thinkers, and collaborators. And in this small bedroom, on this distant space station, that human spirit had begun to shine alongside alien intelligence. Eli closed his eyes, feeling tired but fulfilled. He thought about the future, how he and Zira could continue to improve the systems, explore the station, and perhaps even teach others how humans and aliens could work together. He realized that being human wasn't a limitation. It was an advantage, one that could complement alien technology, precision, and foresight in ways that neither species could achieve alone. As he drifted into sleep, Eli knew one thing for certain. The locked bedroom had been the beginning of something remarkable. He had not just survived, he had adapted, contributed, and proven that humans, with their creativity and determination, could thrive even in the most challenging environments. And for the first time, he looked forward to the next challenge, knowing that together with Zira, there was almost nothing they couldn't face. The next night arrived faster than Eli expected. The artificial lights of the station dimmed to their evening glow, and the window showed nothing but the endless black of space. Eli sat on the edge of the bed, still thinking about the improvements he and Zira had made to the monitoring system. The drones now moved in smoother arcs. The backup array he had built was functioning well, and Zira had even allowed him to adjust one of her holographic barriers. The morning sun bathed the alien city in warm hues of gold and lavender, casting long shadows across streets that shimmered with soft light. Captain Elena Marlowe walked beside Kale through the bustling plaza, feeling the energy of a civilization that was orderly yet strangely quiet. Though the aliens moved gracefully, there was a uniformity in their gestures and expressions that spoke of a society structured around logic and precision. Kale's luminous eyes flickered nervously as they passed the city's central council hall. "Today, you will see," Kyle said softly. "Not all of my kind welcome the human way. Some fear what you bring." Elena nodded, bracing herself. She had expected resistance. Humanity was often met with skepticism in unknown worlds, but this was the first time she would face it directly. "Then we proceed with care," she said, her voice calm but firm. "We do not force understanding. We encourage it." Inside the council hall, a group of alien elders observed her with quiet intensity. Their skin shimmered with muted tones of silver and violet, a display of cautious curiosity. Kale stepped forward and introduced Elena. "These humans, they are different. They bring feelings. They teach connection. I ask you to observe." One elder, taller than the others, spoke with a voice like chimes. "Connection? We have no need for it. Emotions cloud judgment. Efficiency, logic, and order have sustained our society for millennia. Why should we listen to a human?" Elena straightened. "Because connection strengthens a society in ways logic cannot. Humans survive not just through intelligence, but through trust, empathy, and understanding. These qualities allow us to adapt, to endure, and to innovate. We are here to share that experience, not to disrupt, but to enrich." Another elder shifted, the color of its skin flickering in shades of uncertainty. "But what is the measure of this strength you claim? How can feelings compete with knowledge?" Elena took a deep breath. "Feelings guide action. They allow cooperation beyond calculation. Consider moments when humans face danger or uncertainty. We act not only from reason, but from care for others. That care creates bonds that cannot be broken by circumstance alone. That is a kind of strength. It is subtle, but powerful." Kale's eyes glimmered with pride, reflecting the light in the hall. "You see? This is why I seek human guidance. We do not fully understand our potential." The council murmured among themselves, their skin flickering with hesitation. One elder stepped closer, its voice soft but edged with authority. "Then demonstrate. Show us the human way. Let us see if this bond is more than words." Elena nodded. "Of course. But to understand, you must participate. Feel with me?" She looked around the room, letting her words resonate. "We will start with small exercises. Simple acts of empathy, trust, and cooperation. Observe, and you will feel the impact yourselves." The aliens hesitated but eventually agreed, forming a circle in the center of the hall. Elena began with a storytelling exercise. She shared a tale of humans surviving a great storm, relying on one another's courage and care to endure. She described the fear, the hope, and the triumph with clarity, letting each emotion breathe in the room. As she spoke, Elena noticed subtle shifts in the council members. Their eyes widened slightly, their postures softened, and for the first time, a faint ripple of color ran through their skin in response to her words. Kale's hand rested lightly near hers, a silent support and encouragement. After the story, Elena guided the aliens through a trust exercise. She instructed them to pair up, relying on one another to navigate a simple obstacle course within the hall. At first, the aliens were hesitant, their movements precise but tense. Yet gradually, as they communicated with gestures and learned to rely on each other, their skin shimmered in gentle patterns of gold and green, a clear sign of emerging emotional engagement. "This is unusual," one elder admitted, its voice hesitant. "We feel connected, but it is fleeting. How can this be sustained?" Elena smiled. "It is a start. Feelings grow stronger with practice, attention, and care. Humans do not learn empathy in a single day. It is cultivated over time, through shared experiences and acts of kindness." Kale nodded, its glowing eyes flickering with excitement. "We must continue. We must try more. Humans, they teach in ways that awaken something within us." The council continued to watch closely as Elena introduced another exercise, an act of collaboration. She asked each alien to build a simple structure from materials provided, relying on teamwork rather than individual precision. At first, the aliens struggled, their training and efficiency conflicting with the need for cooperation. But with Elena's guidance, they began to listen to one another, adjusting plans, sharing tasks, and supporting weaker attempts. By the end of the exercise, what had once been a rigid uniform group had transformed. Structures rose with creativity and ingenuity, reflecting the combined effort of each participant. The alien skin shimmered in vibrant mixed colors, and even the sternest elder looked astonished. "Remarkable," the elder said quietly. "Our logic was incomplete. There is power in this human method." Elena felt a surge of pride, but she knew the challenge was only beginning. "The power comes from connection," she explained. "Not from replacing logic, but from enhancing it with empathy. Trust and understanding allow individuals to accomplish more than they could alone." Kale leaned closer to her. "Tomorrow we will try something more personal. I wish to understand human emotion in depth, not just in group exercises." Elena nodded. "Then we will begin. But remember, Kale, emotional growth is gradual. It requires patience." Outside the council hall, the city moved with quiet efficiency, yet Elena noticed subtle changes. Small groups of aliens lingered near the plaza, observing her team and Kyle with curiosity. Children played, experimenting with gestures and colors, mimicking what they had witnessed. The seeds of emotional understanding were spreading, slowly but surely. As night fell, Elena returned to the garden with Kale. The twin moons bathed the landscape in soft silver light, and the bioluminescent plants glowed gently around them. Kale was silent for a long time, its eyes reflecting contemplation and wonder. "Human," Kale finally said, "your people, they are extraordinary. You survive, thrive, and grow not by dominating, but by understanding. This is unfamiliar to us, but I feel its value. I want my kind to feel it too." Elena reached out, lightly placing a hand near Kale's as she had done before. "And they will, Kale, one step at a time. We are not here to force change, but to inspire it." Kale's skin shimmered warmly, a subtle sign of contentment and understanding. "Then we proceed. Tomorrow we begin anew. I wish to explore these emotions further, to understand their depths." Elena smiled. "We will. And together we will discover what your society can achieve when logic and emotion work as one." As they walked back through the quiet city streets, Elena felt a profound sense of purpose. Humanity's influence was subtle, but it was powerful. The aliens had begun to glimpse a different way of being, a way that combined strength, intelligence, and emotion. She realized that her mission was not just to teach, but to build bridges to awaken potential, and to show that the human spirit could shine even on worlds far beyond Earth. Kale paused at the edge of the plaza, looking back at Elena. "Human. I sense a journey ahead. Challenges, doubt, perhaps even resistance. But with your guidance, I believe we can overcome them. Your people. You bring hope." Elena nodded, her eyes reflecting determination. "That is what humans do, Kale. We adapt, we endure, and we inspire. And now we have the chance to do the same here with your world." The alien city seemed to hum in agreement, a soft vibration that resonated through the ground. It was a quiet affirmation, almost as if the planet itself recognized the significance of the bond forming between human and alien. Elena knew that the coming days would be difficult. Not all aliens would accept human influence so readily. There would be fear, skepticism, and misunderstanding. But she also knew that the human way, The way of empathy, trust, and connection was powerful. It could change minds, hearts, and even civilizations. As the moons rose higher, casting silver light across the glowing garden, Elena and Kale sat in companionable silence. The city beyond them was alive with potential, and in that stillness, Elena felt a spark of hope. Humanity's first steps into this world were not measured in technology or force, but in understanding, patience, and care. Kale turned to her once more, its luminous eyes steady. Tomorrow, we continue, I will embrace this human path, and I will guide others to see its value. Together we will learn, and perhaps we will teach my kind to feel as humans do. Elena placed her hand near Kale's again, feeling the subtle pulse of life and energy. Yes, Kale, tomorrow we continue. And every day after that we grow stronger, together. Under the twin moons of the alien world, a new chapter was beginning. Humanity's legacy was not conquest nor domination, but connection. And through patience, empathy, and unwavering courage, Elena knew that humans could illuminate the path for an entire species. The journey had only begun, but already the possibilities seemed limitless. The alien world greeted the new day with soft golden light. The twin suns rose slowly, sending shimmering waves across the horizon, and the city awoke with its usual rhythm of quiet order. Yet something felt different. Elena noticed it immediately as she stepped onto the balcony of her guest quarters. The streets below buzzed. Not just the southern city had survived the flood, but the memory of that day lingered in every corner. For the first time in generations, the aliens remembered what it felt like to lean on each other. Not only through duty, but through trust and care. Families spoke to one another with more warmth, neighbors offered help freely, and children played with laughter that echoed strangely in a society long accustomed to silence. Elena noticed it as she walked the streets with Kale. Their eyes glowed brighter, their skin shimmered with vibrant patterns, and their movements carried new energy. She smiled quietly. Humanity's influence had planted a seed, and now it was growing. But change never came without resistance. Whispers spread in the council chambers, and not all were happy. Some elders believed emotions were dangerous, a weakness that would lead to chaos. Others feared humans might reshape their society entirely. Yet the memory of survival weighed heavier than fear, and so Elena was allowed to continue her work. One morning, as the twin suns rose, an urgent message arrived. A massive storm was forming over the northern seas. It carried strange energy pulses, unlike anything the aliens had seen before. Predictions showed it moving toward 3 major coastal cities. If unchecked, it could destroy thousands of homes. The council summoned Elena and Kyle. The chamber was tense, filled with murmurs. One elder spoke firmly. The disaster in the south was contained, but this storm, it is beyond us. Our calculations predict wide destruction. Human, your methods helped once, but this threat is greater. Do you believe your way can still succeed? Elena met their glowing eyes without hesitation. Yes, humans are problem solvers. We do not always have the tools, but we have the will. If we work together, your technology, my guidance, and your people's growing unity, we can save those cities. Kyle stepped forward, voice steady. I have seen what emotions bring. I will stand with the human. Together we will lead. After a long silence, the council agreed. Ships were prepared, carrying both humans and aliens toward the storm. For the first time, the two species would face danger side by side. The journey north was long, the seas restless beneath their vessels. Elena stood on the deck, watching waves rise and fall like restless beasts. Kale joined her, its luminous form glowing faintly in the gray mist. You are not afraid, Kale observed. I am, Elena admitted, but fear can be useful. It sharpens us, reminds us what is at stake. Humans do not let fear control us, we turn it into courage. Kyle studied her words. Courage, another gift of your kind. Perhaps that is what my people need most. Elena placed a hand gently on Kale's shoulder. You already have it. The day you stood before your people and gave them hope, that was courage. Now you only need to keep using it. Kyle's glow brightened with quiet pride. Then let us face this storm together. When they arrived, the storm was already raging. Towering waves smashed against the coast. Winds howled with unnatural force, and lightning laced with blue energy split the sky. The alien ships hovered above the sea, struggling to stay steady. Elena gathered the team of humans and aliens on the main deck. "Listen to me," she called out above the roar of the wind. "This storm is powerful, but it is not unbeatable. Humans have faced storms on Earth for centuries. We survived them not with fear, but with courage and unity. We will do the same here." The aliens listened, their eyes wide, their skin flickering with nervous colors. Elena pointed toward the cities along the shore. "Those people are counting on us. If we fail, they lose everything. If we succeed, we prove that together we are stronger than any storm." Kyle raised its hands, glowing with steady golden light. "Trust in her words. Trust in each other. We have already saved one city. We can save 3 more. Do not think of fear. Think of those who wait for us to protect them." The crowd of aliens responded with a ripple of color. Bright blues, greens, and golds. They were ready. The plan was simple but dangerous. Using alien energy fields, they would create barriers along the coast to weaken the storm's impact. Humans would coordinate rescue operations on the ground, guiding people to safety. The challenge lay in timing. The barriers had to be raised at the exact moment the storm reached its peak, or they would collapse. As the storm approached, Elena moved among the teams, giving encouragement, adjusting strategies, and reminding everyone to stay calm. "Focus on each other," she told them. "If one stumbles, another lifts them. If one falters, another carries them. Together we cannot fail." The storm struck with terrifying force. The sky turned black, waves crashed over barriers, and lightning tore through the air. Alien teams struggled to hold the energy shields in place, their strength wavering. Elena saw the fear in their glowing eyes and shouted over the roar, "Do not give up. You are stronger than this storm. Look at each other. Trust your strength." Kale echoed her words, moving among its people, glowing brighter than ever. "Together. Hold the line. The human believes in us. Believe in yourselves." Meanwhile, Elena led the human teams through the flooded streets of the coastal city. Families were trapped in collapsing homes, children cried as water rose around them, and chaos threatened to break order. But humans acted with determination. They carried survivors on their shoulders, guided crowds toward higher ground, and improvised solutions when alien technology faltered. One group of humans used ropes to pull a family out of a sinking building. Another formed a chain across the rushing water, linking arms to guide aliens to safety. Everywhere Elena looked, her people showed courage, creativity, and unity. Aliens watched in awe. They had never seen such raw determination. Slowly, they began to mimic the humans, reaching for each other, forming chains, carrying survivors together. For the first time, both species worked side by side, not as separate groups, but as one united force. The storm raged for hours. The barriers shook, the winds screamed, and the cities trembled. But the people did not break. Humanity's willpower, combined with alien technology, held strong. Finally, as dawn broke, the storm began to weaken. The waves calmed, the winds faded, and the skies cleared to reveal 3 cities still standing. Exhausted, drenched and covered in mud, Elena stood at the highest point of the city, looking out over the survivors. Families embraced, children laughed, and colors of joy shimmered across alien skin. Kale joined her, its glow bright and steady. "We did it," Kale said softly. "Your people, they are unlike any I have known. You shine in the darkest moments, and that light spreads to all around you." Elena smiled wearily. "That is what it means to be human. We may stumble, we may fear, but when it matters most, we stand, we fight, and we protect. Not just for ourselves, but for everyone." Kyle looked at her with deep admiration. "Again, human. Do it, love us once more. Teach us, guide us until we can shine as you do." Elena placed a hand over her heart. "I will. And one day you will not need us to remind you. You will carry this light on your own." When they returned to the council, the chamber was silent as survivors told their stories. They spoke not only of alien technology, but of human courage. They described how humans had risked themselves for strangers, how they had turned chaos into unity, and how their strength had inspired the aliens to act with equal bravery. The elders could not ignore the truth. One by one, they acknowledged the power of humanity. "The storm was greater than any we have faced," one elder admitted. "Yet we endured. Not through calculation, but through courage and unity. The humans have shown us a path we had forgotten." Another added, "Perhaps it is not weakness to feel. Perhaps it is strength. We will not resist this change. We will learn." For the first time, the council bowed their heads, not in defeat, but in respect. That night, under the twin moons, Elena and Kale walked through the city. The streets glowed with celebration. Humans and aliens sat together, sharing food, stories, and laughter. Children of both species played in the square, their joy uniting them more than any treaty ever could. Kale turned to Elena. Humanity shines brightest in darkness. You gave us courage when we had none. You gave us hope when we were lost. For this we will never forget you. Elena looked out at the scene, her heart swelling with quiet pride. This is not just humanity's light, Kale. It is yours too. You carried it when your people needed you most. Now together, we will build a future where both our kinds shine. And as the city celebrated beneath the stars, Elena knew that the bond between humanity and this alien world was no longer fragile. It was unbreakable. Humanity had proven itself not by power but by heart, and in doing so, they had earned a place in the stars that no storm could ever wash away. The twin suns rose slowly over the alien horizon, casting long golden beams across the cities that had survived the storms and floods. The air was warm and vibrant, carrying with it the scent of strange flowers and the hum of life. Elena walked alongside Kale through the central plaza of the largest city, marveling at how different the world felt now compared to when she first arrived. It was no longer a city defined by logic alone. There was laughter, cooperation, and a quiet warmth that radiated through its streets. Humans and aliens moved together with purpose, not out of obligation, but from trust and care. Humanity's influence had taken root, and it was growing stronger every day. Kale's luminous eyes flickered with contentment. The cities are safe. The people are united. Your guidance has changed much, human, yet I sense there is more.